Hi, Charlie here with LVI. In this video we're going to talk about Tab 2.0, the new software release that we just released a couple weeks ago. So if you're here in this video, you probably own a Tab, you just updated it, or you own it and you want to see whether you want to update it, which of course you would. This is not a full-blown demonstration on the Tab. This is just what's new with 2.0. So things like image rotation. So I can use the camera in any position now and rotate it. The fact that I can now record video and audio, a presentation in a classroom or at work, and use the camera built into the surface at the same time, so I can magnify and do my work as it's recording in the distance. I can change the color of all my menus now, of my, I can magnify. So there's so many cool things, but one of the biggest and coolest things is test taking. Well, I don't know if it's test taking. It could be a form you need to fill out. Anything, maybe you get in the mail, you need to take a picture of it, you get an email and you need to fill it out. You can do it, especially if it's a document that, like it is in a PDF, that where you can type it in. This gives you the ability now to fill out any type of document and form. So I'm going to go through, I'm just going to demonstrate a few of them, because later in this video, after I'm done, Kimberly's going to come in and show you in depth each of the new software updates in Tab 2.0. So let me show you. Oh, well, it went to sleep. I guess it's a little tired today. So, you see I have it plugged into a large monitor. First thing you notice is where my camera is. It's not off to the side like like we had to use it before. This is because I can rotate the image now. I can use this, bend it over, use it as a lefty. I can move it around, use it over here as a righty over at this space, but if I'm limited, I can pull it and use it behind the unit. So, tip it forward, or I can push the screen back, and then I can pull the camera forward and use it out in front. Very cool. Check it out. I just take my fingers and rotate until my image is how I need it. So that's camera rotation, and that's awesome in distance and self-view too. If I need to adjust anywhere I'm looking, I don't always have to have the camera a certain way. I can just rotate it and then quickly adjust the rotation. Yeah. All right. So you notice this is a little bigger. You notice it's not transparent anymore. That's because I went ahead inside the menu, and let me show you quick. I went in here and I changed it to the way I want it. But check this out. If I can't see this, I just pinch, and now I can. Pinch down, but wait, I can't see this one too well. Oh, look how small that is. And then I can move it around. So now I have the ability to pinch and zoom within the menu. I love that. You know, this thing will work just fine if you turn on narrator. Everywhere I go, it'll read it to me. You can turn on the voice within our software too. But narrator, you know, double tap each button, it activates it and all that. We're not going there. Alright, so down here, the picture, you can now open and save documents from within. I can open and save. That's what the first two are. And then, of course, I can go into my video or my picture taking. But that's really cool now that I can just save it within here or open it within here. The next one over, you notice is a little pen in a box. That's my test taking. Now, there's two ways to activate it. And two fingers takes a picture of what I have on here. And one finger opens a dialog box. And you see I have two documents in. So if this didn't have anything in it, see, I would open something here. But I don't want to. So let's close it. Okay, so I have two in here. Here's a document that I want to fill out. I'm on the text part. Okay, so let me just magnify that a little bit. See, I go over here to the you see the magnifier. Now I can get this document the way I need it. If I needed to fill out a form or fill out these answers, check some boxes or whatever, I can do that now. So check it out. I tap on the pen. I have a pen. I can use my finger or a pen. Hi. This is... Okay, so I can do that. But say I made a mistake. Oh yeah, I do that. I come to the eraser, tap it, and then... Didn't I tap the eraser? Yeah. There. Okay, another cool thing is that I want to put a box in here to type in an answer. So I just tapped a little. So if I had a Bluetooth keyboard or something connected, I wouldn't use the on-screen. I wouldn't use the on-screen keyboard. Now you notice my menu, how large it is, black background, very visible. That's because I set it up that way. But I could go down if I don't need it that large. Remember, pinch and zoom almost anywhere, and I can magnify things in here, but I need it large. So, you see the box I put in here? So I can now click on the letters. I can change the color and the size of the font to match the test or make it a little bigger. I can drag my box around because I want to put it here. No, sorry. Every time I tap in the box, it's going to open. As I was saying, now I can just take my finger and move my print around and get it lined up on the document wherever I need it to fit. Okay, and if it's not big enough, I can magnify it. So I just wanted you to see the pen, the tapping, the tool I need. Kimberly's going to show you all this real close and in depth. And handwriting, or erasing, or typing in my answers. Now I'm done. I can save it. I can email it. Even if I accidentally go to leave, it asks me, do you want to save this? So if I hit yes, I name it. Could be a form I needed to submit in class. I name it, and then I email it to my teacher. My teacher can email me things. I can jump on the internet and grab and do research and bring it into the tab. The tab is a Microsoft Surface Pro. I mean, it is running. I'm going to hit no. It's running Windows 10. So, just so you see, there's Windows. Windows 10 Professional. This is an i5 with 8 gigs of RAM, and we have an i7 with 16 gigs of RAM. So, let me just activate this again. I want to show you something in scanned. Something, I mean, yeah. This is really cool.
MagniLink Tab gives endless possibilities. The MagniLink Tab is a complete and mobile.
Okay, you notice how fast that went, but you know, of course I can change the print just by up and down. You know all this, the gestures. You see gestures is also right in the gear icon. It's gestures. Plus we also have a document we can email you, and you can have them on paper too. But anyway, I now take 4 fingers. Say this is my most desired way to, when it scans, to read. But say I don't want that. I want to do a sentence. I want to do a word. I want the document. I want to put a word under the document. I want to go...
Speaking speed 200.
I want to go even bigger. I mean, I want to add a sentence. Now I'm back.
Speed 200.
So you hear it, and then this is the actual document, which I can magnify, and now I can go back. So you hear it saying speaking speed because 3 fingers.
Speaking speed 200.
I'm not hitting my 4th finger. And now...
Volume 100.
So volume, you can do all the quick little navigation, not navigation, quick things you want to do to get it working for you. So that's new. So what else? Well, I'm not going to do too much because Kimberly's going to go through the software amazingly. I just want you to see, look at this. Look at this. I can put the camera wherever I want and move my tab around. So I now could move it up here. Bend this down, use it out in front here. I can do that if I want. I can use it off to the side. I can do any type of distance I want. All because this is bendable, and now I have camera rotation. And of course the same thing, we have all the different cameras. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed with the existing tab platform. We've just added lots of new features and benefits, and we look forward to hearing your feedback and what we can improve on, what you'd like to see added. But let me get you over to Kimberly now so you can do the deep dive. Any questions? Email info@lviamerica.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charlie, for showing us all the exciting features of MagniLink 2.0, using the gesture, showing the ease of setup. I'm now joining you. I'm Kimberly Klein, and I'm here to show you how to actually use all the ins and outs of the software. I'll be focusing on the buttons at the bottom of the screen, and there'll be times I'll be writing on the screen using Microsoft Surface Pen as well. So let's get started. What's new in MagniLink Tab 2.0? Well, there's a lot of things that are new. You'll probably notice the buttons at the bottom of the screen are quite a bit larger. So they're larger, and you can also customize the color. So I've made them black with white background, but you have the ability to make them any color you want, which is incredible. So I'm going to take you into the settings by hitting the gear. And when we go into the settings menu, we're going to go down to application, which is on the left-hand side. When you go into application, the actual camera shows a black background and the camera's white. Now, if that's a little too small, another new feature is you can pinch and zoom. So I'm going to go into the actual camera just by tapping on it. And really what it does is it opens up a color option, which is really nice. So I can come over here to blue, and then I'm going to make it, that's more of a lavender. So it's actually updating the color right on the screen, and you can see it. So that's a bright blue with white. So let's go out and see if we like that look. We're going to keep it at that, and we're going to go. So that's pretty nice as well. So we have bright blue with highlights of white. Looks good to me, but maybe you prefer blue with black lettering. So again, I'm going to go into the gear, the menu, settings, and see where it says white text or black text. We can simply pick black text. It does update on the screen over here in the menus. And of course, if I escape back out, get to my menu choices at the bottom, now I have the blue icon, or the blue buttons with the black, which I find harder. So I'm going to go ahead and change it back to the white, which again, very, very simply, just go into the settings menu. We're going to change it back to white text, and voila. So that is one of the brand new features, is you can change the button colors, and you can also change the text to either bright white or bright black. All right, let's go in because there's a few more changes that we made in settings. So one of the things you may have noticed is I did pinch and zoom on the screen. And you can do that in any of the menus now and make it be whatever size that you want. You also have the ability to do that on the left-hand side. So the left-hand side and the right-hand side can be done independently, which is really, really cool. So I'm going to shrink them back down a little bit. And we're going to talk about, let's go up to the About. In the About area, what I want to bring to your attention here is your hardware ID and your version number. Notice I'm running 2.0.9.0, which is the latest version. And I know you're all going to want that as soon as you're done watching this webinar. So there's several different ways to update, but you're going to want to know that your hardware ID is important, and also your serial number. Now your serial number is not here, it's actually on the tab itself. It's on the bottom where the plate is. So you can take a snapshot of that, take a snapshot of the hardware ID, send that to your reseller that you purchased through, or you can simply send that to service, service, at lvi.se. And if you send them your hardware ID and your serial number, they will then send you the instructions for updating and give you the link that you need to use. It's really a simple process once you get that back from them. Once you send it in, allow up to 48 hours to get that back to you, and then you'll be able to do the update. The great thing is the update's complimentary, so you'll definitely want to take advantage of that. I'm going to go back down to application, where we just were a second ago. And again, the two things you want to see are the color, where the camera is. You click on that, and then you've got white, bright white text or black. But if you go into that camera, you have the ability to click on any color. So now that's pink. We have blue, darker blue, more of a purple. Any color that you click on, it actually goes into that color. And some people I know really like blue, but they want it to have more of a green hue to it, you can come down where the numbers are and change these as well to whatever you'd like them to be. A higher number, of course, is going to be darker with that color. So that's the only change that we've made here. It's a pretty big change, but it is the only change that we made within the application section. Now, if we go down to camera, which is the third button down, some of this looks real familiar to where you can uncheck and check. So we're not going to cover any of that, but I did want to make sure that you knew about the frequency. This is another change that we made. So you now can change the frequency from either 50 Hertz or 60 Hertz. It's up to you. It just depends on your lighting in your room. So if you're in an office building or a school setting, you may want to alter this because that will change and possibly give you a better, clearer picture depending on the type of lights that you're using. So feel free to make that change. That is a brand new choice and feature that we've added in. The next thing down is speech. We only changed one thing in here, and we actually made it to where you can uncheck and check column mode. Now, by default, it's on because everyone mostly wants it to look at a document, read down column 1, then read to column 2, etc. But let's say you had a power bill, water bill, something that might have columns, but you don't want it to read in columns. You want it to read left or right, or the bill's not going to make any sense. You have the ability to turn column mode off. It's a checkbox. I'm just touching it with the pen. You can also use your finger, or you have the ability to use the space bar as well. So the space bar will uncheck and check a checkbox. So that is the only brand new thing that we've added in here. Now let's go to shortcut keys. Within shortcut keys, we have added, of course, some new different shortcut keys because we've added some new features. So I'm making this larger again by just pinching and zooming. You now have the ability to open a picture and open a video. So those are in there now. Rotate clockwise and counterclockwise. So that is in there. And I'm scrolling all the way to the bottom. And we have a notes tool section. So we have save drawing, Control S, open image, Control O, undo, Control Z, and redo, Control Shift Z. So those are brand new because we didn't have the tools feature before, and now you can edit the document. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. Speaking of this, and of course, and I'll bring up the gestures because we have a few new gestures. So Charlie was showing you earlier how you can rotate the image with 2 fingers. So that is a gesture that we've also added as well. So all your gestures are here. But speaking of all the hotkeys, the gesture, the shortcuts, and the actual menu choice at the bottom, I have updated all of those shortcut keys, and we'd be glad to give them to you. So I'll tell you at the end how you can ask for that information. We can get it right out. Okay, so those are the changes in the menu. The next thing that I want to share with you, and all of these changes are from user feedback because we've had the product out close to a year now, and we had a lot of people writing with some really great suggestions. And of course, we listen to our end users and our customers. And so we've made these changes. So the next one I want to show you is Tab version 2.0 has the ability to use 2 cameras at once. So you have 3 cameras on the tab. You have our distant camera, which can go across the room, document, or self-viewing, but you also have the ability with that to do self-viewing, but you can do picture taking and video recording. So I'm going to take that, right now it's over a document, I'm going to take it across the room. Aha. So I have something on my wall there. And it's actually the back side of a tab. Actually, it's a tab brochure. Now we're going to pretend those pictures right there, we're going to pretend like they're people and they're actually doing a presentation, which would be so cool if that was happening right now. So very, very simply, you can go into record by going to the button right here where it's the, the 6th button over where you have the video camera and the camera. So I'm going to go into there, and you then can pick record. And simply by hitting the keystroke to do that, is it actually will come up and ask you what you want to save it. And we want to go ahead and give it today's date and time. So we're going to stick with the default setting. And right when you do that, it says recording. So we are now recording across the room. I'm going to switch cameras right now by hitting F7. Now I'm underneath the tab directly. So let's talk about this for just a second. You're in a presentation, someone's doing an actual video. I'm going to change the coloring in here for just a second. I'm going to turn my light off because I'm causing myself to have a glare. Let me go back to, okay, let me put this one here. Okay, this is a really pretty good one here. All right, so you're in a presentation, someone is giving you a handout and you go, oh, that's great, I'm videoing this, but now I can't see the handout because of the fact that, you know, I can't see something that's very, very small. So you have the ability, I'm going to move this over here, you have the ability to now put it underneath the tab camera and be able to use both cameras at once, which is so cool. And then when you're done recording, you want to actually save it. You can just go, recording has stopped. You can stay at the image you were looking at, but that red dot is now not on your actual screen because you've actually stopped the procedure and you're no longer doing that video. Earlier I had the XY table that Charlie showed you, and now I'm going to go ahead and use the actual camera to show off our exciting new feature, our distant camera. So I moved the XY table for a second just to clear some area on my screen. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to show you how to fill in a form, and it's really pretty easy and cool. So first of all, I'm going to go to that camera, which is F7, and there we are. We're on the form, and it's pretty large right now. I'm going to go ahead first of all and do some color changes to the form. So you can see that you have the ability to have it in whatever color you want, and then I can change the contrast level. So let's say that we want it to be, let's go with the bright white on black. There we go. That looks really nice. So that's crisp and clean. But if we wanted to fill this form in, before we didn't have a way to do that. Guess what? We do now. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to shrink it down a little bit more so we can get most of it on the screen. We're going to take a test here in a second. So we want to get a nice, good shot of this. Just darken it up just a tad. Okay, so the whole test is on the screen. Here's a brand new editing tool. So the menu at the bottom, it's the tool we were in a minute ago for doing video, but now we're going to hit that. It's the sixth one over. And the last icon off to the right is a sheet of paper, and it actually has like a pen, so you can write with it. I'm going to double tap that. It will take a picture of it, and it will bring you into our editing feature, which is so cool. Okay, and you say, Kimberly, I can't write on this because the image is landscape, and I need to be able to write on it. Well, guess what? Of course, we have a tool that allows you to rotate the image. So I just touched that tool right now, and now I can bring up the test in whatever size that I want. So I'm pinching and zooming. So we'll go through all of these, but we're going to fill this out really fast just so you have an idea of everything that you can do with this. So one of the features is a pen. So I'm going to click on the pen, and now I can actually handwrite my name. I'm going to write it kind of sloppy because I want to show you that there's an eraser, and I can quickly click on the eraser, and now my name is gone. Maybe I don't want to handwrite my name because I'm a sloppy writer. Maybe I want to type it in. So there's an actual way that you can put a box on the screen and you can type. So I'm going to type Kimberly. I'm going to say, oh, I don't like that color. So since I don't like that color, I'm going to go into my letters here, and I'm going to pick, we're going to change it back over to gold, excuse me, from gold, because it was like a gold color, to black. Okay, so I think black font is better. And now let me go back into my box. All right, perfect, much better. So I'm going to type Kimberly. Okay, that's perfect. But you say, oh, it's not on the line. No problem, just take it and drag it. Put it right up there on that line. And now there's my name on the test. So what I want you to know is you can only be in one editing tool at a time. So now I want to come and I want to handwrite some stuff. So Charlie loves to see LVI products. Again, I'm gonna actually handwrite this. I'm going to go back to the pen, but this time I'm going to make the pen a little not so thick because I had it pretty thick before. So we're going to make that just a little bit thinner. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to write 2. So Charlie loves to see new LVI products. Christopher is not Henrik's favorite employee, because Kimberly and Charlie are. Henrik has smaller wheels on his Volvo than Christopher. Now there's more tests down below, so I can just hit on the magnifying glass, and that allows me to scroll the test up. Then when I'm done with that, I can even make it bigger. So let's say I wanted to do some highlighting here. I can go into the highlight tool, and I'm going to highlight Charlie's name in yellow. And of course, as I mentioned before, you can change the color. So for me, of course, I have to have purple. And let's change the color for both people in Sweden to have more of an orange. So this is really great if you want to highlight something, if you're wanting to study for a test or anything like that. And as I mentioned, you can use the eraser at any time. And once you have the eraser engaged, then I can click on anything and just unhighlight it. And now you say, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Well, go ahead and just keep hitting your undo key. So there's undo and redo as well. So we can finish the whole entire test. I'm going to go back into the actual magnifying glass so you can see how much do you like Swedish companies for IKEA. Well, you guys maybe have never shopped in IKEA in Sweden. I got to go to Sweden once. I didn't get a chance to shop, but we're going to go back to the pen, and I'm going to say they have great IKEA stores, great Volvos. I saw them everywhere. I'm not a Spotify girl, so I'm going to go to 2, and I don't do much with H&M, so I'm going to go to 1. So you can see how simply you can fill this out. You can now handwrite. You can handwrite with your hand, and you also can type with text, and you also can use the highlighter, and you can erase. So it's really, really cool how you can do all of these features. Now I'm making this bigger because I want to talk about each of the features up here in case you didn't get a chance to see it. So the cool thing is you can make this whatever size you want. So that left arrow would take us out. So if we went out, obviously it would ask us if we want to save it, and we don't want to save it right now. So, you know, I'm not going to do that, but let's see what else we have here. So the one that looks like a file folder, that allows you to actually open something. So if you wanted to open something you had scanned in before and fill out the form, you can do that. The actual one that looks like it's so funny, a little floppy disk, which we don't use those anymore hardly at all, but that's where you can go and save. And of course, it's just saving it to the hard drive or wherever you tell it on the computer. Then we have the arrow going to the left, that is undo. And then we also have an arrow going to the right, which right now it's disabled. But if we wanted to hit restore after pressing undo, so let's go into undo something. So now restore is lit up. So now I can hit that and it will redo what I just undid. The one to the right of that is the pen. So the pen and the highlighter have the ability to be in the mode that you're using them, and it also has the ability to be in the mode where you can change the color and the thickness. So if I just tap pen and I held it, so it ended up bringing up the colors. And again, I can pick whatever color that I want. I picked red, so now I can handwrite with red. And now I can go into the highlighter. If I want the highlighter to change to a different color, I also have the ability to pick whatever color here. So now I picked green. Let's say I wanted to highlight section 3. And you can, of course, hold the highlighter down so I can highlight even more. So that's the highlighter pen. So again, the pen and the highlighter have the ability to change colors as well as thickness. And then the one here that's the magnifier, this allows you to pan and enlarge the image. So if I wanted to go back up where I signed my name, I have to go into the magnifier. Once I go into the magnifier, now I can scroll, and I've got my name up there, and I can scroll around, I can make it bigger. But if I'm over in eraser, and now I try to pinch and zoom or scroll around, it won't work because you can only be in one feature at a time. So now I'm in eraser, so if I start tapping the screen, it's going to erase the text that I typed. Perfect, so now all of that's back. Of course, I could pick undo and redo at this point. The next one over was the typing box. So this is where we went in. I can type any area on the screen, and then if I start typing, it will put the text on the screen. And let me come back down there. There we go. You can type whatever you want. And then the double A's allows you to go in, change the colors and the thickness of what you're typing. So I'm going to go out of there. And then we did rotation before. If you're going to rotate the image, it won't let you do that after you filled out a form, because of course you don't want to turn it upside down, because everything you wrote would not stay in the right area. So you want to save it before you want to rotate the image, or get the image rotated how you want it before you start filling out the form. Either one is a good option. You can also do OCR from here. And then if you do OCR, you do have the ability to start it reading. The reason it's grayed out is because we haven't OCR'd anything. But the arrow, or excuse me, the triangle pointing to the right starts at reading. The square stops it. And then we have read previous and read next. So that would be if you want to read the previous word, next word, or of course, if you have it in sentence mode, it would be sentence per sentence. And then the last one over takes you to settings, because if you wanted to go to settings from here, you could do that. So the cool thing is I'm done. I'm done with this document. So I asked me if I want to save it. I'm going to say yes. And when I save it, it automatically puts it wherever I have it set up by default. Right now, everything's going to PC video, and I time-stamped it today and today's date. It takes me out of the image. And of course, now I'm back looking at it live as well on my desk. So very simply, after you do that, you then have the ability to, of course, print it and hand it in. You have the ability to save it. Excuse me, it's already saved. You have the ability to attach it to an email to turn it in, because we're still doing distant learning. That's going to be very, very important as well. So I'm going to finish off with another feature that we've added, and that's the ability to use narrator. We had quite a few people say, you know, this would be really cool if narrator worked extremely well with it, because that way, if someone has very low vision and they're showing it off, or someone has no vision or just light perception, they still have the ability to show this product off. Because in certain states, they may have a person that does low vision evaluation, and that person may be totally blind, light perception, or very limited vision. And so it's very important that they're able to use it. And so I had a lot of people say, well, we wanted to work with narrator because it's on a Windows 10 machine, and this is Windows 10. So that's really cool. So I'm going to turn on narrator, which happens just to be Control Windows Enter.
MagniLink Tab alert. Narrator heading level 1.
And I'm going to minimize this box.
MagniLink Tab window button. Scan off.
Okay, very good. So now that narrator's on, I have the ability to touch any button at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to hit the first one.
Switch to OCR view button. Double tap to activate.
So that first button takes you back and forth between OCR and live mode. And we didn't go through every single button because I've done that in other videos. Today I was just highlighting the new features. So I can touch any of the buttons. I can even move my finger across, almost like I was going across like with the piano in here. And I'm going to go to the right.
Switch to switch camera, but zoom in button, zoom out button, start OCR, but take picture or record video settings button, settings button.
So I just went across all the way at the bottom, and so you could hear all the buttons. So it's really cool because I was doing a training just on Friday to someone that just had light perception, and their comment to me was, oh my gosh, I can show this off now. This is so great. It works. I think this is even great for people that have even less vision than I thought before, because again, you guys work with narrator so well. So we wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we could you could now be using narrator with the product. And of course, if you double tapped on the icon, it would perform what it was doing. So I'm going to turn narrator off. Again, it's Control Windows Enter.
Exiting narrator.
And now I've turned it off. All right. Thank you so much for joining.